Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day today. My name's Cody and I want to thank you so much for stopping by the farm. I've got a new order of peonies that just come in and I want to get these guys potted up because it's still a little too early to get the ground worked out in the field, just frozen ground and all that. But I want to get these guys out of their packaging into a pot so at least they can grow and start nice and healthy. So that's my plan here for the rest of this morning, is to get those peonies out of their packaging into some larger pots and into a nice sheltered area so they can get on and and start growing. So we are in the shell of the greenhouse here. Now I do unfortunately have to move this guy again this year. That's okay, it's just a little process. Hopefully it doesn't take more than a couple of days. But anyway, what I'm in here for actually is these dahlia pots. I didn't get a chance last year to clean them out, and that's fine. They didn't do all that well for me anyway, and so I'm going to take some of these pots out over, get them prepped and ready for the peonies. There we go. So we have our first box of peonies here. I'll dry off to the side for now. There we go. Now they are all in here. So ideally the best time to plant your peonies are in the fall after they've gone dormant from a good summer's growth. Fall comes, the cold weather comes, they start to die back. And at that time, it's really good to get them back into the ground just because it allows them a chance to have their roots grow and set the previous year. So that way, come next spring, they already have their roots established. So when they can start to warm up in the spring, they're ready to go. But the second best time to do that is right now. So all these roots here were shipped to me. I'm trying to grow the amount of peony stock that we have. And what I want to do is get these guys into these larger pots, give them a chance to grow, because like I say, it's still a little bit too cold. Ground is still frozen, can't get these guys in right now, but into these pots it'll be perfect for them. Give them a chance to wake up nice and gentle, and then when I can work the ground, get them out into the field. You can see these colorful nodes here. These are what are going to be the shoots and ultimately the flowers. And then what's under here, all the root growth. And you see these little white roots all around there? Those are what set in the fall when you transplant, ideally in the fall. All of these little white roots go into the soil around and they get set. So that way come next spring, they are ready to go with these little guys. And as you can see, they're starting to wake up now and they're looking for a new home. So I got to get these guys in right away. All the peony roots are all laid out here, 25 big and beautiful chunky roots. What you want to do with these guys is you're going to put them in your pot and you want the crown to be about 2 inches below the soil surface. So the crown is where you get the junction between the roots and what are going to be the stalks. And you can kind of see that in these guys here. And the idea of putting them down that low is give them a little bit of winter protection, which is good. And that way when you go to plant these guys from the pots, ideally then what you're going to do is you're going to plant the pot flush to the soil because it's already 2 inches deep. So I'm just going to get this guy wiggled in there. There we go, that looks good. And then just come back in over with a little bit more soil. There we go. And that's one down, 74 more to go. There we go, we're just working on the last pot, getting that filled up. Now these ones, I've already got the 25 that are set clumps with their eyes and all of that. This last one is just going to be potting up any of the ones that might have broken off, or even any of the root trimmings. Those ones, I believe the pronunciation is adventitious roots. Correct me if I'm wrong, but what that means is these plants, certain varieties of peonies, will be able to develop and form eyes on a part of the plant that doesn't have an eye on it already. There are some varieties that can't do that, but these varieties can. So, let me give you a little example here. Here we go. So this root chunk here, there are no eyes on it, and if you remember, eyes were those little colored points, and those are what develop into the flowers and the leaves. This root chunk has no eyes, but because of the property that it has, it's able to callus over and form eyes. So I'm just going to put all of these root chunks into one pot and mark it so I know which one it is, and then just kind of see how that goes throughout the season. Because you get a lot of these little broken root bits, and they can go in the compost pile, that's fine. But if you're able to get another one of these really nice plants out of it, then that's a really good way to go too. So I'm just filling this up with a little bit of soil. So I got a bunch of these long roots now, like you can see here, these guys. There's no eyes on them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke them in to our pot here, just down, right in there. I'll come around after and get a close-up, but the plan is to give these guys some extra little space there, so hopefully they can grow into their own plant, which is what we're after. And by spacing them this way, we give them a little bit more breathing room, put them in there deep, a lot more surface area contact to the soil. That's fantastic. All of these root segments, just going to push them in there like so. Doesn't really matter how much space they get. If this takes, probably what I'll end up doing is in the fall I'll come back out, and once this plant has gone dormant, I can break into here just by tipping the pot over and letting it spill out, and then collecting all of the individual plants and potting them up into their own, or moving them out into the field as individuals. So ideally each one of these root sticks gets turned into its own plant, but as with anything in gardening, you're not guaranteed anything, but you gotta try. Alright, now you'll notice that not one of these has an eye currently on it, so this will be a great experiment to see how this process works. Put those guys there. There we go. Now we'll just take a bit more potting mix and come in, fill this back up. There we go. Put this one with the other guys. There we go. So we have our 25 large ones planted, and then we have our one experimental pot all ready to go. I still have 2 more varieties to do, so another 50 plants to get in, but it is getting late and I'm going to call it a day there. So that's pretty much it. I love peonies. For our growing area, they are one of the best plants to grow. They come back every year. Once they're established, they ask nothing, and they always provide you a fantastic show every spring. But that's where I'm going to leave it today, guys. So I want to thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out. Until next time, we'll catch you later. Bye now.